And in this video, I'm going to talk about my underwriting strategy, how I mitigate risk as a real estate private money lender. So, this video is going to be very specific to real estate private money lending. So, if you are thinking about getting started as a real estate private money lender, or if you already are a real estate private money lender, maybe you've just done a couple loans, this video is going to be perfect for you. If you've never done real estate lending, if you're not interested in real estate lending, if you've got no desire to start lending, this video is probably not going to be a good fit for you. But if you're into it, if you're interested, let's jump right into it. So I started a bookkeeping business 5 years ago. And then I started doing bookkeeping for real estate investors. And then I learned about real estate lending by accident 2.5 years ago, did my first loan. Now I have $1.7 million lent out. I've done 39 real estate loans. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm just sharing my personal experience and my personal tips. So if you want to start lending on real estate, totally cool. If you don't want to do that and you want to invest into my debt fund, Zip Capital, that's also totally cool. I'm offering 8% up to 12% fixed returns, passive income. You can definitely make more if you do your own lending, but it's more active. So if you want to be more hands off, less involved passively, then consider investing into my fund. If not, if you want to give it a shot yourself, this video is going to tell you everything that I do. So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about it. And if you have any questions or comments throughout the entire video, let me know. I'm going live every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned. Okay, first, I have a website. So I'll be honest, I did not start a new website. I'm just piggybacking off of my bookkeeping business website, which I know it's not great, but I'm just too lazy to start a new website. I really should start a new website for my private money lending and Zip Capital, but I just haven't done it yet. So I just have another page up here. Super simple to add a page to your website. This just simplifies the process. Anytime somebody asks me for a loan, I just send them directly to I got to sneeze. I just send them directly to my website, private money lending. And so I've got two pages here. I've got this page where hopefully you can see this. Super, super simple. So people would ask me a ton of questions on Facebook. And so instead of answering their questions every single time, I just simply copy and paste my website link and just send it to them. And it just makes it so much easier. That way you're not going back and forth and answering a million questions. And the other thing is, as people ask me more questions, if their question is not answered on my website, I'll add the information so that it answers their question. And then over the course of a few months, people ask you enough questions, you answer the questions, you add the information to your website. Before you know it, you've got a frequently asked questions link on your website with all the information they need. So people ask me, how much do you charge? I tell them right here, 12% interest plus points, doc prep, underwriting fee. And then, it could be more or less depending on the loan amount and your creditworthiness. People say, can you fund 100% of the purchase price? Yes, I can fund 100% LTV. How quickly can you close? I can close in 7 days. I will need a few things before we can get started. So here is a list of everything that I need for the underwriting process. But before I request those documents, I send them here. This is something that I just recently started doing. Feel free to copy the information on my website because guess what? I copied it from somebody else. So here is my real estate loan request. This has been an absolute game changer. People fill this out. I will not give you a loan until you fill this out. It'll take 60 seconds. Just fill out the form. And the cool thing is all the information goes to a Google Sheet. So it's basically like a leads list. So I'm capturing everybody's email address. So you might request a loan today. I may or may not fund it, but in 6 months, when I have more money available to lend, I'm just going to go back to my list of real estate investors asking for loans. And then I'll just send out an email to all my leads and say, hey guys, got $200,000 available. Who needs a loan? First name, last name, email, phone number, standard. What type of property? Single family home, 1 unit, duplex, 2 units, triplex, 3 unit, quadplex, 4 unit, 5 or more units, or is it mixed use? Will you be living in this property? Super important. Yes or no? I cannot lend on it if you will be living in the property. I can only lend on non-owner occupied properties. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Questions, comments. I will do my best to answer everybody's questions or comments. Closing date. This is important. When do you plan on closing on the property? Address, obviously very important. Purchase price, very important. Rehab amount. How much do you think you're going to spend on rehab? And the reason I ask that is because I can lend on the rehab. So if it's going to cost $100,000 to purchase it, $50,000 to rehab it, I could potentially give you a $150,000 loan. Current as is value of the property. This is really important, although often overlooked because these guys are finding properties at a deep discount. So oftentimes the purchase price is not necessarily the current as is value of the property. So I want to know, what is the current value of the property? It might be the purchase price, or ideally, it might be more than the purchase price. And then the after rehab value of the property. So that's probably purchase price plus rehab plus whatever appreciation of the property you've got from restoring the property. So if it's a purchase of 100,000, a 50,000 rehab, ideally the after rehab value of the property is 200,000, 220,000. It would never be 150,000. The after rehab value of the property would never be the purchase price plus the rehab amount, because then the flipper's not going to make any money. What type of loan do you want? Do you just want purchase? Do you want purchase and rehab? Or maybe it's a refinance. This does happen sometimes. People will purchase the property with cash, and then they will use me as a private money lender to refinance. So basically, there is no loan on the property, or there is a loan on the property, and I'm going to refinance. I will either put a loan on the property, or I will pay off the previous lender and they'll get a new loan. So there is an option to do a refinance if they bought it with cash. How much of a loan do you want? Do you want full rehab and purchase, or maybe just purchase, no rehab, or maybe just 90% of the purchase, or maybe 80% of the purchase? And then how long will you need this loan? Less than 6 months, 6 to 8 months, more than 12 months? What's your exit strategy? This is important. I need to know. Are you going to sell it, or are you going to hold it? Two completely different strategies. And then just lastly, name of your company, what's your personal credit score, how much cash do you have? So it's important not to lie on this. So I'm probably talking to other people thinking about starting private money lending, and yes, people can say whatever they want, but I'm going to ask for proof. Like if they tell me their current liquidity is $500,000, I'm going to say, great, send me your bank statements. And if I see that you've got $5,000 in your bank statement, but you say you've got current liquidity of 500,000, I'm going to ask a lot of questions. So this is just the beginning. This is just a very quick loan request form just to start the process. This is not the entire underwriting process. And then how many flips or rentals have you purchased in the last 24 months? 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 or more. And then just any other information you think would be helpful for making a decision. And then submit. And then I immediately get an email address. I will usually try to call them right away, or I'll send them an email, or I'll just take a look at it and go from there. Okay, so once they do their online loan request form, and once I've looked at the basic details, I think I can do it, everything looks good, I will send them loan terms. So online loan request form, and then I'll send them loan terms. Once they accept the loan terms, then I will request documents. And here's a list of all the documents that I request. And if you have any questions about this, or if you want to copy my list, go to my website, harrisburgbookkeeping.com, and you can copy and paste my list. LLC articles of organization, driver's license, tax returns, P&L, balance sheet, pay stub if they're an employee, bank statements, 2 most recent HUDs from their most recent acquisitions, scope of work for the specific property that we're looking at, comps they use to calculate the ARV, and finally, interior, exterior pictures. So the most uncommon thing about my underwriting process is my tax returns. I get a lot of pushback. People are like, what? Why are you looking at tax returns? You're a private money lender. I'm an accountant. I don't know. It's just part of my underwriting process. Some people will require an in-person meeting. Some people will require that I walk the property. Some people will require a credit check. Some people require an appraisal. I just require two most recent tax returns. It's just how I do it. That's how I've always done it. That's how I will continue to do it. For a couple reasons. I want to see your adjusted gross income, and also I just want to know that you file your taxes. So if you don't file your taxes, that just says something about you as a business owner. To me, that is an inexperienced and unorganized business owner. For whatever reason, I know there's a million reasons to not file your taxes: divorce, personal reasons, family, crisis. I know things happen, but I'm just not interested in getting into business as a lender with a real estate investor who doesn't file their taxes. Just personal preference. Okay, so and then once I get all those documents, then it's pretty much title insurance, property insurance, get in contact with the title agent, talk to my real estate attorney, have him draft the promissory note, the mortgage, the personal guarantee. It's a pretty smooth process after I get these documents. So I'm looking at two things with these documents. One, I'm actually looking at the data in the documents, but two, just honestly, just as important. Like, you wouldn't think this, but it's become pretty apparent. There are two different types of people out there. There are organized people and unorganized people. I prefer to lend to organized people, but now that's kind of a subjective analysis. How do you determine somebody's organization level? Well, you give them a list of 11 things that you need, and then you judge them based on their timeliness and their organization of documents. So, perfect example, somebody same day or next day within 48 hours shares a Google Drive with everything in that Google Drive perfectly labeled, neat, organized, no questions asked. They are much more likely to get approved than somebody who asks me a million questions, somebody who takes 2 weeks to get me the documents, somebody who gives me pushback, somebody who says, "Why are you asking for my tax returns? You're a private money lender. I shouldn't have to give you my tax returns." If you want a loan from me, these are the requirements. And so you, as the lender, you have all the leverage. You can do whatever you want as long as you abide by laws and regulations. Of course, you can't discriminate and you can't do illegal things, but as long as you abide by the laws, you can do whatever you want from a private money lender perspective. So ask for as many documents and proof and follow up and more information as you want. I'm judging the organization, the communication, and the timeliness of these borrowers because we're about to go into business together. We're about to start a business relationship. I'm about to give you $200,000. So I think the least you can do is send me these documents. Okay. Let me check the comments and questions real quick to see if anybody has anything. But then after that, I will get into my underwriting criteria. Okay. Do you have a Google business account for Zip? Are investors searching Google for those services? I wish I did, Steele. I need to get a Google My Business profile set up. I just don't have it. Honestly, I'm just being lazy. I really want to. I just haven't done it yet. I really should get a Google My Business profile set up for Zip Capital so that I can start getting Google reviews and start building online credibility. Is there a reason why you only lend on non-owner occupied properties, Sonia? Yes, as a private money lender, I am only allowed to lend on non-owner occupied properties. I'm not a licensed mortgage broker, so I am not able to lend on owner occupied residential properties. Could you use that survey as a lead funnel? Steele, absolutely. I'm using that survey as a way to generate leads, not only for Zip Capital, but if I ever wanted to get more bookkeeping clients, I could also use that list of email because all of those people are real estate investors. So I could always fall back on my lending lead list, my LLL, my triple L. I could always fall back on that to go after bookkeeping clients if I wanted to. Okay, let's go over my underwriting criteria. So, taxes. Borrowers must have filed and completed taxes for the past 2 years. Exit strategy. All borrowers must submit a written exit strategy detailing plans to sell, refinance, or rent the property. So, borrower requirements based on experience. So, there's 3 different types of borrowers. No flips in the past 12 months, 1 flip, in the past 12 months, two or more flips in the past 12 months. So if you've done no flips, this is your first time, no experience, minimum adjusted gross income, $60,000. Loan to value up to 80%. So if you find a property for 200,000, I might only lend $160,000. No rehab. I'm not going to lend you rehab money. Minimum profit margin, 25% based on ARV minus costs. A detailed budget. I want to see your acquisition and your disposition closing costs, itemized rehab expenses, project timeline for each phase, contingency reserves, 10% of rehab costs. And then for the comparables for your comps, I want to see three similar properties that have sold in the past 12 months, similar type, size, and location, and the ARV verified by a licensed real estate agent. So I have very strict underwriting criteria for brand new investors. Understandably so, because they are the most risky. They are the least likely to succeed because they have no experience. So one flip in the past 12 months, everything's the same, detailed budget, list of comps, but I might be willing to lend up to 85% of the purchase price, and I might be able to fund 50% of the rehab if they've successfully done one flip. So a little bit more purchase and about half of the rehab. Now, once you've done two or more flips in the past 12 months, there's no income requirement, no minimum AGI requirement, and I will lend 100% of the purchase, 100% of the rehab, not to exceed 70% of the ARV. So that is my underwriting criteria, basically in a nutshell. And one of the hardest parts about being a private money lender is actually sticking to your underwriting criteria. So that's why if you're trying to do a loan, it's really important to have good deal flow. You want to make sure you have a lot of deals to analyze, because if you're only looking at one or two deals, then it's going to be hard to stick to your underwriting criteria because you're going to be sitting on $50,000 or $100,000 and you want to move your capital. So if you don't have good deal flow, you're going to be more likely to not adhere to your underwriting criteria. That's why it's so important. And that's why I started Zip Capital, because I have incredible deal flow through my networking and my social media marketing. Over the past 5 years, I've been trying to grow my bookkeeping business, marketing to real estate investors. And so I already have a ton of real estate investors in my network. And so I have really good deal flow. So I am able to turn down loan requests because I have 2 to 4 new loan requests every single week. So I can hand pick the one or two best loans that I want to do during that time period. So deal flow is really important. And if you're starting a bookkeeping business, growing a bookkeeping business, or any other bookkeeping business, you probably already started social media marketing. But it's cool because it just continues to build on itself. You do marketing for your business right now, and then whatever business you start next, you will already have that marketing established for the new business. That's it. That's my underwriting criteria. That's how I mitigate risk as a private money lender, as a fund manager. Risk mitigation, most important part of my job. So if you're interested in doing your own private money lending, copy all the stuff that I just did, make it your own, fine tune it, refine it, go to my website, go to other mortgage brokers, other lenders, look at their website, look at their online loan request forms, cherry pick some of the best information. All the information is out there. If you want to do your own private money lending, you absolutely can. You can earn. So I have been earning about 18 to 20% on my real estate loans because I charge 12% plus 3 points, 6-month terms. So if I do one loan in 6 months and then get the money back and then do a second loan in 6 months, then I will basically do 12% plus 3 points plus 3 points. That's 18%. Plus, I charge an underwriting fee and a processing fee. So I'm getting typically at least 18% return on my cash. So if you want to do your own private money lending, then you absolutely could. If you want to do more of a passive investment, just find a debt fund. There are hundreds of debt funds out there. If you want to invest in mine, that's amazing. It's open to accredited investors, and I'm paying up to 12% fixed returns. You can try to do it yourself, or you can invest into my fund. Either way, you need active income. Either way, before you start focusing on your long term investment strategy, you need active income. And so that's why I created 100 videos previously teaching you how to grow your bookkeeping business so that you could get that strong active income. And then now the idea is grow your bookkeeping business, wait a couple years, get to the point where you've got $25,000 or more saved up, and then start doing private money lending if you want. It's a solid investment strategy for me, and it might be a good fit for you. As a real estate investor, one of the most important things you can do is find good deals. And that's why I decided to not do real estate investing, because I was not interested in finding good deals. I was not interested in finding good deals. That takes a lot of work. You got to scour the market. You got to look at listings and look at houses and look at properties. And so I was interested in more so leveraging my finance, tax, and accounting experience to underwrite real estate investors instead of finding good deals to buy real estate. So that's why I chose private money lending over actual real estate investing. Okay, I'm looking at the chat, a couple comments here. Outside of hitting 5 million, what's another goal you have? Steele, personal goals. I want to squat 500 pounds. I want to keep my bookkeeping clients. I want to do a good job of coaching my son's football team. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to keep my bookkeeping clients. I already said that. I want to raise $5 million in Zip Capital. I want to profit $1 million this year. I think I'm on pace to hit that. I hit more than 500,000 of net income the first 6 months of the year. So I want to hit $1 million profit this year. Yeah, those are my goals. Maybe I'll think of some other goals, but that's it for now. Does the borrower pay you directly, or do you go through escrow and get paid until it closes? The borrower pays me directly. For monthly interest payments, the borrower pays me directly. So I get their banking information. I get ACH authorization to pull their monthly interest payment directly from their bank account into my bank account. I charge 1% per month. So if you borrow $200,000 for a real estate loan, you're going to pay me $2,000 per month for the duration of that loan. But in terms of the actual purchase and sale of the property, that all gets handled through the title agent. So I wire money to the title agent, and then the title agent facilitates the real estate transaction. At closing, I give my wire instructions to the title agent, and the title agent pays me back at closing. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping. I'm not going to be going live next week. All next week, I'm not going live. So tomorrow is my last live until 2 weeks from now. So I'm going live every day, 11 a.m., Monday through Friday. And I'll be talking about real estate, private money lending, Zip Capital, wealth management, personal finance, tips and strategies. And my goal, I'll be honest, my goal is to raise $5 million in Zip Capital. That's why I'm doing all this. I want to spread awareness of private money lending, and I want to raise $5 million in Zip Capital. So the theory is 100 people watch my video, 99 of you learn how to do private money lending yourself, and I get one of you to invest into Zip Capital. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie about it. My goal is to encourage you to invest into Zip Capital. That's why I'm making these videos, but I want to make them as informative and educational as possible. So I will teach you how to do private money lending along the road with the hope of building enough trust and building a relationship with you to the point where either you go out and do your own private money lending, that's awesome, or you invest into my investment fund, Zip Capital. How close are you to 358,000? Alec, not sure what you mean. I have 358,000 currently in my fund. So that's not my goal. That's how much I have right now. So I have 358,000 in Zip Capital, and I have 1.4 million of my own money lent out. So that's 900,000 of it is actually my own money, and then about 500,000 of it is lines of credit, credit cards, and business loans. So 1.4 million of my own money slash Harrisburg bookkeeping loan money and 400,000 ish of other people's money actually in Zip Capital. So my goal is to get to $5 million. So I'm already at 358,000. I'll challenge you, once that number behind you hits 500K, I'll get 3 clients. Steele, I hope so, because guess what? I'm probably going to hit 500K this month. My goal is to get 4 new investors into Zip Capital this month. I'm having some difficulty because of the accredited investor requirement. So I am having some challenges of raising capital because some people want to invest in my fund, but they are not accredited investors. So that has been a challenge. Alec, Steele Sadler, Godspeed. Hey, Sonia, Alec, Steele, I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to cut it off early because I've run out of things to say. So instead of wasting your time and just continuing to ramble, I'm going to call it. I will see you all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place. Hope you all have a blessed day.